Hey everyone, welcome back with another session of geography. I hope you all are doing well. So today we'll start with this same chapter, that is Earth in the solar system, and we'll complete the last portion of it. Okay, so let's begin. So as we have already discussed, just a small briefing I'm giving. That's the moon, our natural satellite. Now if we see some facts and figures of moon, like our Earth has only one satellite, that is the moon. Alright, now the diameter of the moon is like 1/4 of the diameter of the Earth, and its distance from Earth is around 384,400 kilometer. 384,400 kilometer. Now it's like closer to Earth than the sun if we like compare it. Okay, now if we see guys, like the moon, what like there are only mountains, plains and depressions on the moon's surface. If you just see it, mountains, plains and depressions, nothing much about. Okay, so along with all this, like the moon, just like the planets, the moon has no light of its own, so it reflects the light of the sun. And if you see more, like it takes around 28 days and 8 hours to revolve around Earth, as well as at the same time to rotate on its own axis too. As a result of it guys, we get to see only one side of the moon. Alright, so that's the reason why we can see only one side of the moon. Fine. Now next up we have guys, that is the phases of the moon. Now what is this phases? Now when we see the moon appears in the sky in different shapes. Now these different shapes of the moon are referred to as the phases of the moon. So we can call it like the different ways the moon looks from Earth over a period of a month, that is considered as the phases of the moon. Fine. That is the phases of the moon. Now we have already read that the moon takes 28 days and 8 hours to revolve around Earth. Alright, and because of that, the shape of the moon grows during one half of this period and reduces during another half of this period. Okay, so likewise, let's see. So first of all we have, that is new moon. So when the moon cannot be seen because of its presence between the sun and Earth, that means when the side of the moon facing Earth does not receive sunlight, so we cannot see the moon, and this is known as the new moon, or we also term it as Amavasya. Alright, now after that comes the waxing period. Now waxing period, so when the shape of the moon starts growing. Alright, so when the shape of the moon starts growing, that is known as the waxing period. Alright, next up, after the waxing period comes the full moon. Now what is this full moon? So when we can see the entire lit portion of the moon and it looks like a full disk, then it is known as the full moon, or we call it as Purnima. Okay, and next lastly we have, that is the waning period. So it's the period in which the shape of the moon reduces. Alright, slowly the shape reduces, and that is called the waning period. So all this, like you can see the cyclic process, one new moon, then comes the waxing period, then comes the full moon, then comes the waning period. So all this whole thing keeps on continuing for every month. Okay, so it keeps on continuing for the whole month, that is around 28 days and 8 hours. It keeps on continuing this way. Alright, so that's the thing. Now next up we have, that is asteroids. Now what are these asteroids guys? Now asteroids are nothing but the broken pieces of probably an exploded planet which revolve around the sun in their own orbits. Alright, as you can see the picture here, it's nothing but just the broken pieces of an exploded planet. Fine. Now their orbits lie between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Now as you can see the picture here guys, so these asteroid belt we call it, so their orbits lie between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, as you can see the picture here. Okay, just between the Mars orbit and Jupiter's orbit, there lies the asteroid belt. Fine. Now these asteroids, they vary in sizes. These asteroids, they vary in different sizes. Now if you see guys, Ceres is the largest asteroid with a diameter of about like 940, we call it approx, it's given 939, so it's around 940 kilometer. Fine. And the other three are, one we have as Vesta, another we have Pallas, another we have Hygiea. So these are the like 4 largest asteroids still now recorded. Fine. Now next we have meteors. Now what are these meteors? Now meteors are small pieces of rocks that revolve around the sun. Okay, so that's the difference between meteor and asteroids. Asteroids are the broken pieces of exploded planet, and meteors are the small pieces of rocks that revolve around the sun. Now children, sometimes what happens, sometimes these rocks like enter Earth's atmosphere with great speeds, but due to the friction with air, they usually get burned before reaching the surface of the Earth, and it appears to us like the shooting stars, the one that we call it as Tootha Tara, shooting stars. Okay, so however guys, when a meteor reaches Earth without being completely burned, now it creates a large hollow in the ground, and that is called a crater, as you can see the picture here. So it creates a large hollow in the ground, and this is called a crater. Now guys, the largest crater is in the state of Arizona in the USA, and it is like 1200 meters in width and 170 meters in depth. So the width is around 1200 meters and depth is like 170 meters, and that is in Arizona, USA. Now further, if you see guys, all these chunks of the meteors, all these chunks that fall on the surface of the Earth, these are known as meteorites. These are known as meteorites. As you can see the picture, I have given some picture. Okay, so these are all examples of meteorites. Now lastly we have, that is comets. Now what are these comets? Comets are masses of ice, dust and gases that revolve around the sun. Now what happens when a comet comes close to the sun, it gets heated up and turned into gas, and it appears like a bright star with a long tail, as you can see the picture here. So these tail, it may extend to over millions of kilometers, millions. It's not that the small tail and all, no, it may extend to millions of kilometers. And if you see guys, the most renowned one that we call it, that is the Halley's Comet. It's the most famous comet. Alright, now it appears after every 76 years. So after every 76 years it appears. Now if you see, it will be next be seen in the year 2061 to 62. So around that period it will be like seen. So last it was seen around 1982 or 84, around that period of time. Okay, last it was seen. So that's the thing. And lastly, another one more important information we have, like in the year 1963, Valentina Tereshkova, a Russian cosmonaut, she became the first woman to go into space. This is another information for you guys. Okay, so that's all we have in this session. I hope you have liked it. So until the next time with some other topics, bye bye.